Make America hard again.
I think that's the last thing. Yeah, it was a.
That deserves a pause.
It was a sponsor. It's a sponsor for their thing.
For like what is it? Dick pill?
But Adam, yeah. Well, it's a conversation.
yeah.
Yeah. But go back to the. But what was I about to say? Fuck. I'm starting over. It was too much. All right.
Take two.
Adam sends more shots towards Joe Budden. You know, one thing that does feel kind of crazy is that like Adam gets ignored at a high level. Nobody from everybody,
opponents.
from his peers, from his peers. If it wasn't for Adam and Vlad, I mean academics and Vlad, nobody would collab with him. No other media on his level. Nobody's collabing with him but them. He's been trying to beef with Joe Budden and the Joe Budden podcast for the last month, ever since like the him and Lena arc ended. He's been trying to gas up the Joe Budden podcast arc, and everybody they're completely ignoring him.
You saying Adam is just a wasteland?
Yes,
but they say the same thing about Hollywood. Like Hollywood is a wasteland, but it's always going to be new roaches coming and try to find something to eat.
Roaches just don't ever die too.
That's what I mean. There's always going to be some coming up rapper who's hot.
Why does he still want to do this? Like, I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like every day he wakes up and contemplates just blowing this whole no jumper shit up and joining the Hell's Angels.
Not even the Hell's Angels, just going fully in the corn. But this is another thing, man. I don't want to speak on nobody's pockets, but sometimes when he be talking about money, he be talking like he's really barely making ends meet, and I just don't like that shit because he was talking $1 million a month at one point, and it's just I don't know. It's different when a nigga says, "Okay." Obviously, the question was, you're already a millionaire. Why did you let your wife do the thing? And then he'll say something like, well, who said there's supposed to be a goal, a financial goal or whatever? And it's like, yeah, you're right. I've never heard 50 Cent or Jay-Z say there's no financial goal. But I don't know. The way they said it just sounds more pure.
In what aspect? In terms of like a number that I can get to the way I don't care no more?
Or something like that. Yeah, exactly. But he speaks from the, hey, well, you can always use more money. I'm like, what you mean you can always use? I understand you can always use more money, but are you struggling, my nigga? I say things like that now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's around niggas 99% of the times,
That never
so he's
stopped him
picking
before?
up on
Oh, I see what you're
nigga
saying.
tactics, like
Or yeah,
you know what I
maybe,
mean?
but
Niggas act broke.
Even more so, to your point, there was $1 million a month period in time of his life.
Right.
Yeah.
You still got to pay those same bills.
Yeah.
So your income is dwindling, but the bills is the same
I
because you
wonder how
already
much-
done curated a certain style.
I'm just wondering how much higher his overhead is. Now, one of the things also that like academics brought up, because Adam was speaking on academics' Spotify deal ending, he did say that, well, first of all, Adam was just pretty much trying to like allude to the fact that like academics might have just got dropped along with all these other Spotify exclusive deals that they had. Ack addressed it and was just he was pretty much just like, our contract ended. So he didn't mention it, which did make it look shady. So when Adam first said it, I was like, oh shit. Yeah, this nigga academics, he's normally the type to be like, hey y'all, we're done with Spotify, the deal ended, but he didn't do it until
it already happened.
Adam said it. So, but we already know.
Why you think that is? Because there's no negotiation for renewal?
Possibly. Exactly. It's something unfavorable in terms of, if we ended a
Unfavorable.
It's something unfavorable. If we ended a contract with Spotify and we were happy with it, it's just not a reason. There's no reason to not come on here and be like, yo, thank y'all to all the new listeners from our last deal. The deal is over. We thank y'all. Just something like that. Like
champagne and parades.
Especially this. I remember when he got that deal. That was one of his first big deals. You know what I mean? Where he was like, it was a celebratory moment when he got the deal.
And it's not like he can say that. You can't. He don't need to say a lot. He just need to say something, because it's like sometimes there's clauses about what you can say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like that's a good moment for all podcast people. I remember I'll never forget the episode when Schultz said he like signed his first $1 million deal.
Yeah.
I'll never forget those episodes. You know what I'm saying? Where like Schultz had that moment. I feel like Charlemagne was more, he alluded to it, but Schultz had the real come up in terms of just like growth and shit.
Charlemagne was already doing all right when
he was already
started tuning in.
When I knew him. Yeah. So
but I remember the same pair of shoes for about a couple of years.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
He had a rotation of 3 J's. Nigga.
Yeah, it was like when he was on, it was like niggas was happy on that episode. So it's just weird when you don't announce that. But this nigga Adam,
shout out to his shades. I like these shades.
play this. So
those are the you can't see me crying shades.
Yeah.
Nah, man, that's just
Yeah.
what he's doing. But that's not those shades. Those are like, you know what I mean? Like,
Detective.
One thing that
On
academics
vacation
did
with
say
the
though
boys.
that I never even thought about was Adam doesn't get an approach for deals. Ever since the
He's a little radioactive in terms of
ever since the
shit he
Atlantic
dabbles in.
deal, there's never been an announcement that he's negotiating a big deal ever. Since the Atlantic record label deal.
you
What
think-
kind of deal are we talking about though?
Any deal, there's no reason a podcasting deal.
I'm surprised that
He owns his own network though, so
He
do you
does.
think
But I'm talking about all those Rory and Mal got a crazy bag from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
remember it was like companies were literally seeking that out.
Well, I think he
but
could
they're
have
too
did
born
that.
to say something to piss you off.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're talking about why wouldn't they want to sign it? They signed Joe Rogan. A company signed Joe Rogan and Rory and Mal and academics who didn't even have podcasts before they inked their deal. They would sign somebody with an established podcast.
But I think
and
he
cut them
got
a
those
check.
deals first, but he was probably bullshitting. He probably didn't even like really see the
I
scope.
don't know if he ever got those deals. The first big deal that I remember him signing was the Atlantic Records, the record
Yeah.
label thing. But that was when the whole Adam16 allegations first came up and they dropped his ass. And I haven't seen a deal come across the table since.
Oh,
I haven't seen a
yeah.
public deal come across the table since. So that included with this new rounds of my wife is out here hitting other dudes and shit. It's like I think a lot of people have collectively agreed nobody's gonna fuck with him. Like you can get it out the mud, you can do your Viagra
He'll still get
sponsorships and shit
Yeah,
like
he'll get
that.
He'll get
But
sponsorships.
you'll never get this Charmin commercial. You'll never get this Charmin bag. You'll never get these
Sprite.
these certain things that a lot of these other people are capitalizing on. In
Niggas
terms
wouldn't
of,
even send him a customized Kadema.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Shit like that. So I think it is interesting that
Damn.
academics brought it up too, because I thought about it and he was just like, he's like, if y'all notice, Adam doesn't get deals. Like, Adam is a get it out the mud person. He still is. Like, I'm like, that's a fact. Even though his get out of the mud is attached with multiple thousands at a time, so it's a lot, but
It's also attached with muddy shit.
But when you think about all the
Yeah,
podcasts,
exactly.
when you think about all the podcasters we just named getting these deals, he's the least marketable.
Exactly.
that's a fact. That's
That's
a fact.
exactly why this is happening. though.
Yeah, that's
Like,
a fact.
16 things.
Like you look at him and you don't know if he's racist, but then he's in hip hop, so you don't know if he should be in hip hop. Then he's also fucking his wife on camera 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Then his wife is getting fucked on camera.
Right. He's too much.
It's
He's
a
too
lot
much.
going on.
He's a brand nightmare.
Yeah. No corn star can ever be in any type of commercial on
That's a
anything.
fact. That is true.
You know what I'm
You're
saying?
X'd out from a lot of bags.
Like,
a lot of E
off
for
rip.
everyone bags. Most of the E for everyone bags you
Like,
can't get.
I've been seeing Mia Khalifa. She trying her best to like do whatever she
I've been-
just sports.
like whatever
I've been
she's trying to
seeing-
do.
it's failing.
Like, man, stop it, man.
Yeah,
Open
no.
your mouth, get on your knees.
There's pictures
Smack
of
it to your head.
Nah, dead ass though.
Nah,
You right
nah.
though,
But
because
it's-
every time she pops out, just she
Yeah.
tries to like develop a new
Man.
art. Niggas are like, you're a porn star.
Develop
Like,
a new art.
yo,
Yeah.
it's bad. It's never works. Shit,
And I don't know how like the people around her, like when she's
Keep
at
letting
these
her do
gaming conventions and she's hosting, how does another interview just look at her as if she knows what the fuck she's talking about,
Right.
as if she's a credible person to be talking about anything
It is.
other
about
than sucking dick.
most things.
It is kind of crazy,
I don't-
bro.
That's tough.
You know,
It is kind of crazy. It's like she's tried so many times
Yeah.
and nobody gives a fuck.
Mia Khalifa.
Nobody cares.
Hey, man,
she
so-
keeps having these embarrassing moments where it like
God
comes
damn.
up. Like she just had an embarrassing moment recently where like a kid recognized her, and it was like she's trying to do like this wholesome content.
God,
and he's like,
man, show your
where your
titties.
he's like 11. He's like, I know who you are. You know, like,
Yeah.
it's just
Don't
like-
try to hide them. I don't even like her titties, and I'll just be like, show them titties.
right, exactly.
She
so,
has nice titties.
No, she doesn't.
You
so
crazy.
yeah, I don't know, but let's listen to Adam take shots at Joe Budden.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
the people who are winning the most in the podcast space are the people who are actually having those conversations behind closed doors. I could tell as much as Joe Budden be acting like a bitch ass
You
sometimes.
gotta be coachable.
You gotta be able to have the conversation.
Hold on.
Yeah, he just said nigga. Kinda.
That's what the non-racist. That's what non-racist white people hear every time.
It's crazy. I was like, yo, when I saw that, I said, Lord Jesus, this nigga's lost his mind. He lost his mind.
He called him a bitch ass nigga.
It might be that Crip Mac shirt he's wearing on the hood of everything.
And this is another thing too. It's like, bro, the shirt designs are so trash though. But that's
Nifty Nickel. Crip Mac we trust.
That's another thing too. It's like he's been trying to get Joe Budden to respond.
Yeah.
He just went as far as almost editing himself saying the N-word.
Yeah, right. That's how you
Joe
do it.
Still won't respond.
No, he has to say nigga though. We got to see how much he wants his beef.
I want to know. Yeah, how much do you want to be back on top?
But if he says nigga, then Joe is gonna do the same thing he did to Tax to him in that way.
And then Joe,
and we need one of those moments. We need something. The YouTube streets need something to eat off of.
Joe manipulative ass is gonna turn into Farrakhan and start talking to Brick Baby. Like, how are y'all just gonna allow him to do this?
That's a fact.
That's a great point.
He's busting the whole company down.
What I mean?
But that's what
Adam needs.
That's what Adam needs. That's what he thrives off of. He's the butt of all of his jokes.
Yes, yeah.
That's true, actually.
That's what it takes. He's a nigga that, like, he gets. You ever seen a nigga who's trying to be funny, but he's really just hurting himself?
Yeah.
Him.
He's doing too much. He's trying too hard.
He's like a spider. You try to step on him and he activates quickly. Like, it's like that's the way to get him going. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's a bitch.
You got to try to take him out for him to have something to go at you with.
Yeah.
He a crazy ass. I don't even know what that was, but
yeah, bro, it's sick.
Make it up.
The sound like the end of the ER.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was like, man, this is what the content has come to? Like, this is crazy. Like,
yeah, it's kind of wild.
It's not good. And I hope Joe doesn't respond. You got to fully commit at this point. For us to start accepting you again, you need to fully commit.
It's funny how